Yo, we are live. I know you guys might have seen me doing the producing thing in the background here. I forgot. It's been so long since I went live that I forgot to loop the video, but that's besides the point. Welcome to Cowboys Beat Live. I appreciate you guys for coming out. Not going to be too long here today. Just want to go over the season a little bit here, talk about some things that I think the Cowboys can improve on going into the offseason, and just where things kind of went wrong for this football team this season. Because I'm very disappointed with how this season went. And to be honest with you, it's not because of injury. This team just was not good enough. That's just where this comes down to. Football teams are created in the offseason. Championship football teams are created in the offseason. And this team just did not do enough in the offseason for me to say, hey, this is a championship football team. Thought they were going to be a little better than what they were. Finished the season 7-10. But overall, just not good enough. And I think we saw that. And it is disappointing. It is disappointing. Cowboys fans deserve better. There's no doubt in my mind. Cowboys fans deserve better. This fan base has went through a lot of suffering over the last 30 years, ever since they won that last Super Bowl. A lot of heartbreaking losses in embarrassing fashion, to be honest with you. The last 3 years, especially when you look at these playoff runs, just ended in embarrassing fashion. But I don't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the present and then talk about the future. So here's where the Cowboys went wrong this season. Like I talked about, the offseason, they just did not do enough. And did they not do enough because, hey, we have these contracts, we need to make sure that we have enough cap space for these contracts? Maybe, but at the same time, a smart general manager would be able to maneuver that, right? The problem is the Cowboys they don't have a smart general manager. That's what the problem is. So that's really what's going on here in Dallas. The front office and the owner are the biggest problem with this football team, and you're not getting a new owner and general manager anytime soon. So they're going to have to win in spite of the front office and them doing what they're doing and not improving this football team. But at the same time, I would look back and say this: hey, last 3 years, you had enough talent to get further than what you did. I think if you had a difference maker as your head coach, you would have went further than what you did. This year, not the case. I think if Dak would have stayed healthy, probably win about 9-10 games, still missed the playoffs, right? I think Green Bay won 11, 12 games or something like that. Yeah, I think they won 12 games this year. They're the 7th seed. So you wouldn't have made the playoffs regardless. But I mean, maybe you would feel a little better about this team going forward, but overall, just not good enough. That's not the standard in Dallas. It isn't. Like, look, you could talk about, hey, they haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. Why is the standard a Super Bowl? I'm just telling you, that's how the front office thinks. Us as fans understand it's different, right? We don't look at this team with the rose-colored glasses that Jerry Jones and this front office does, where they're like, we are the Dallas Cowboys. We don't look at them like that. We look at them and say, hey, we get it. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You've done things in the past, but you need to give us something to be excited about in the present and in the future. And they just haven't done that. So we're going to talk about the future of this football team because that's really what's going to be talked about the most. Well, we'll get into, the season as a whole on a later date, probably tomorrow or something along those lines. But, when you talk about the future of this football team, one thing that needs to happen is they need to get a new head coach. I get it. He's not the main problem with this football team, but he's not able to overcome the deficiencies of the front office. And I get it. I get it. It's not easy to work with Jerry Jones, or at least that's what we think, right? I don't know. I'm not in that coach's office. I don't know how Mike McCarthy feels, right? Mike McCarthy is very vocal about wanting to come back, and Mike McCarthy has options. He's going to be a sought after coach, because here's the thing. We might not like Mike McCarthy because he's a guy who was underwhelming for the Dallas Cowboys, but there are teams out there that would love to have a Mike McCarthy that would say, hey, come in, reset our culture, and put us on the right path. And then once it's time to start competing for things, then we'll start to readjust our expectations and start looking at you from a different perspective. But Mike McCarthy is going to be a head coach that's going to get a lot of interest around the league. I personally believe that. I really do. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with Mike McCarthy. One thing I want to say, Mike McCarthy has not earned the right to act as smug as he did in that press conference after the game. Oh, I won a Super Bowl in this building before. I'm a championship head coach. Well, you want to know what you've done for the Dallas Cowboys? Nothing. You've done nothing for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they won 12 games 3 years in a row. That's great. Round of applause. You won 12 regular season games. In your 5 years as a coach, you have won one playoff game, and that was against a Buccaneers team that was 8-9. You have not gotten this team over the hump, and you've had the roster to do so. We can blame other people. We can blame the players. Absolutely. They deserve criticism in this as well. But guess what? There's certain players that you're not going to move on from that are very important in this organization. You can move on from the coach. You can look at a guy like Ben Johnson, who could potentially be a head coaching candidate, and say, hey, you could probably put us on the right direction when it comes to offensive scheme and getting the most out of our players. But for him to sit up there and talk about his achievements that he did with another team, while this team has fallen short of expectations the last 3 seasons, I just thought was a complete and utter slap in the face. I won a Super Bowl in this building. You won it with another team. And quite frankly, you should have won more Super Bowls with the quarterback that you had. And guys, let's keep it real here. This is nothing new for Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, 1 year out of his coaching career, exceeded expectations. He had prime Aaron Rodgers in the prime of his career and won 1 Super Bowl. And in a lot of these instances, they were losing in the wild card and the divisional. This isn't just something that happened in Dallas. You could talk about, well, Dak Prescott's the problem. He wasn't winning with Aaron Rodgers. He was not winning Super Bowls with Aaron Rodgers. He won 1 Super Bowl. Super Bowls is plural, not Super Bowl. When you have Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry, the expectation is more than 1 Super Bowl. When you have a talent that great. So his smug act that he's pulling, oh, I think I'm a damn good head coach. Okay, well, why didn't you get us over the top in some of these games? You were the 2nd seed last year. You walked into that game with more talent than the Green Bay Packers did. And your team looked unprepared, undisciplined. You got out-schemed. So I don't want to hear about your accomplishments from another football team. Because quite frankly, they don't matter. They don't matter to me. They don't matter to the fan base. They don't matter to anybody but the Green Bay fans that you were able to get a Super Bowl for. We're not Green Bay fans. Well, actually, hold up. This week, we are Green Bay fans. For this week only, we are Green Bay fans. And if you know, you know. We're not Green Bay fans. So, yeah, great. You accomplished all this with another football team. Awesome. You didn't do anything with the Dallas Cowboys. You were underwhelming as the head coach. So what should they do going forward? Obviously, they need to move on from the coach. That's what they can do in the immediate future. My question is this. It looks like Jerry's going to try and drag out this process. If he drags out this process to January 14th and he brings back Mike McCarthy, I will lose any ounce of respect that I had for Mike McCarthy. You want to know why? Because he let this football team, who granted, let's look at it from Mike McCarthy's perspective. Hey, I won 12 regular season games for you guys 3 years in a row. They had him go into this season with a lame duck contract, right? There was a lame duck year. And he's going to sit there waiting till the 14th and letting this thing play out to put his future in the hands of Jerry Jones? Dude, I would lose all levels of respect that I have for Mike McCarthy if that's the case. That means you're desperate to be here. I'd gain a lot of respect for Mike McCarthy if he said, you want to know what? I'm done here. You want to draw this process out? I got interviews. There are teams that are going to want to hire me, and I want to go there. And here's the thing, right? Mike McCarthy, I think if he says to the Cowboys, I don't want to come back, I think the reason why is because of job security, right? Mike McCarthy is going to have more job security if he goes and coaches the Chicago Bears or the New Orleans Saints or the New York Jets. And why do I say that? because they're probably going to give him a 4-year contract there. Here in Dallas, I would be surprised if they gave him a 4-year contract. Maybe they give him a 3-year contract, but he already has a reputation in this organization where you say, hey, we've given you talented rosters and you've come up short. He's going to be on the hot seat pretty much every year for the next few years if they decide, hey, we're going to move forward and we're going to give you a 3-year contract. So I could see Mike McCarthy saying, hey, I can go to the Saints. They're going to give me a 4-year contract. I feel more secure there over staying here in Dallas where they might say, hey, here's a 2-year contract. But I don't believe he's coming back, in my personal opinion. So let's see some of the comments. Mike Vrabel or John Gruden need to be the next head coach. I agree with you. Them or Ben Johnson. I need your predictions. Is he coming back? I don't think he's coming back. 12-5 against weak competition like the Giants and Redskins twice every year. This guy is an Eagles fan saying that. So let me ask you this question. Were the Eagles weak competition last year? We beat them. We beat the Lions last year. They went to the NFC Championship game. So we beat the Rams last year. They were in the playoffs. So no, I disagreed with that. It was not against weak competition. Dak is now old and slow and injury prone. And dude, you have an Eagles. I don't want to hear your opinion on quarterbacks if you're an Eagles fan. I don't, because you guys tell me that Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. That guy is not good. So I don't want to hear your opinion about my quarterback when your quarterback's Jalen Hurts. That guy stinks. Ben Johnson is not happening. I've given up on that. I'm not saying that's happening. I don't think it will, but just put it out there. Our expectations are NFC Championship or bust. I disagree with that. It's got to be Super Bowl or bust. I mean, that's what they think about it as. I don't want him back from Twiz. I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro. I just saw that comment there. Okay, so got some people in here. All right. When we talk about, now we can get into draft season. They're going to be picking probably 12th or 11th. I think those are the two. Okay, so why not hire Coach Prime and draft Travis Hunter? I want nothing to do with Coach Prime. I'm going to be honest with you. And here's the reason why. I give respect to Coach Prime from this perspective. Coach Prime is a good college football coach. And the reason why I say that is because he does the one thing that you do that you need to do to be great as a college football coach. That is recruit. Excellent recruiter. That Julian Lewis commitment, that was big time because he pried him away from, I think it was USC, right? So recruiting is big when it comes to college football. And Deion Sanders can do that. But I don't know if that's going to work in the NFL, if what he does in college is going to work in the NFL. I'd be down for drafting Travis Hunter. I just don't think he's going to get there. And I'm not willing to trade up for him. Like, I like Travis Hunter, but when you really start to think about it, is he a generational prospect? I don't think so because, I think he's going to be an elite corner in the league. But here's what I'd say. If we were picking at number 11 and Jeremiah Smith was in this draft, I would trade 2 first-round draft picks to get up there and draft that kid and other assets as well. So, if he falls to us, I'm cool with that. What position would you like us to draft, and what position do you think we realistically end up getting? So, I have the same answer for this. The position I think they're going to go here and the position that I want, and it's not the popular pick because people want Genty, they want Burden, McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, and I'm cool with a skill position player. I'm all for that. The player I want the Cowboys to draft is Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas. I think he's going to play guard at the next level. This guy is a unit. My personal opinion, the best offensive lineman in the draft. I think this guy could be a very good left tackle in the league, but I think that this guy has all pro right guard written all over him. If, Zach Martin does decide to hang it up and you move Kelvin Banks from left tackle to right guard, I think that this guy is going to potentially be a Hall of Famer at guard. That's how highly I think of this guy. Plays with tremendous power, excellent run blocker. I think he'd be a tremendous pass blocker as a offensive guard as well. A little shaky. Like he's a really good pass protector, but kind of struggles with those speedier type of ends. So that's something to pay attention to. But Kelvin Banks to me has all the traits in a guard. Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of people look at a tackle who might not project to be a great tackle in the NFL and just say, all right, he's a guard. That's not what this is about. When you look at certain things that he does as an offensive lineman, I look at that and say that translates from tackle to guard. Very much like Tyler Smith, right? Tyler Smith was really good at digging people out of gaps, executing certain blocks that, you see from interior offensive linemen, that you see more prevalent in interior offensive linemen. And that's why the Cowboys looked at Tyler Smith and said, that guy can be an all-pro left guard. Same thing with Kelvin Banks. I think that guy can be an all-pro right guard. And then your future is going to be Tyler Smith at left guard, Cooper Beebe at center, Kelvin Banks at right guard. You hope Guyton develops. I feel really good about Guyton, me personally. I know he didn't have a great rookie season, but I do feel good about Tyler Guyton. And from that perspective, your interior is very strong. That's a very strong interior if you have Smith, Beebe, and Kelvin Banks in there. And, the interior is as important as it gets when it comes to, the offensive line, right? Like with the edges, obviously the blindside tackle is always the most important position on the line because that is the blind side. But when you talk about quarterbacks and being able to maneuver in the pocket, being able to step up in the pocket and deliver the ball, it's much easier to do that when you have an interior offensive line that's protecting. So I would go with Kelvin Banks. I think that he would be an awesome pick for the Cowboys. Let's see if we have any more comments that I want to go over. Need a defensive head coach, in my honest opinion. I wouldn't mind that. No, get rid of Steele and leave Banks at right tackle. Banks isn't a right tackle. That would be Cameron Williams, the guy from Texas as well. I'm not a fan of him as a right tackle. How do you feel about Tyler Guyton? I think I talked about that one. Guyton has time to build, get stronger, put on some weight, and improve. Excellent point. Aaron Glenn. I'd like that. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. Guyton has shown promise, though. He will develop. I agree. I feel, you want to know what? This is what I'll say. I feel way better about Tyler Guyton going into year 2 than I did Mozzie Smith going into year 2. Way better about Guyton. Let's see. BB Smith, Hoffman were great today. Absolutely. I just don't want to live with Brock Hoffman being my starting right guard. Credit to Hoffman, but I want to get a guy there. I like that pick, but you'd think we'd go for skill positions in the second, third round picks, right? Yeah, I'd be for that. I really would. Honestly, though, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not just saying this because I'm an Ohio State fan. If that Tyleik Williams kid from Ohio State is available for you in the second round, I don't care what running back is there outside of Ashton Genty. If he somehow falls in the second round, yeah, forget about it. But Tyleik Williams from Ohio State is a monster. This guy is powerful, has really good pass rush moves, plays with great range in the run game. He's quick as well, right? And he has really good size. So my thing is, when it comes to, hey, are you a 1 technique or a 3 technique when it comes to those, interior defensive tackles? I look at how you move. I don't look at your size, right? Like, for example, when it comes to guys who are on the Cowboys this year, Jordan Phillips is a guy, right? He was a 3 tech to me because he moved really well. Tyleik Williams to me is a 3 technique because he moves really well, and he's also really powerful. You can play him as a 1 technique, but there's just not many flaws in this guy's game. If he's available for you in the second round, that's a home run pick. You got to draft that guy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think that guy is going to be an incredible player in the NFL. Running backs that you're going to be looking at: Caleb Johnson, Amarian Hampton, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. Those are guys you're going to be looking at in the second round. I love Jordan James from Oregon. I think Jordan James is an incredible player. When you look at my board, I actually have Jordan James from Oregon above Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. I just think that Jordan James plays with an explosiveness, and he plays with a level of power that I just like. I see that from Judkins and Henderson, but I don't see the combination, in my personal opinion, that you see from Jordan James. This guy finishes, but he's also really quick, has really good footwork, and he's a really explosive runner. So that's where I am when it comes to Jordan James, Henderson, and Judkins. I'm a big fan of Jordan James. How do we feel about Ferg? I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a tight end. That's how I feel. Here's the thing. I would extend him though. And here's why I would extend Jake Ferguson. You can get him at a good number. So we know that Dak can play good football with Jake Ferguson. You extend Jake Ferguson this offseason. I think that would be a very shrewd move by the Cowboys front office because I still believe in Jake Ferguson. I do. I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a tight end, maybe in like the fourth round. Maybe Terrence Ferguson from Oregon is there. And maybe that's a guy that we talk about. Yeah, I'm not opposed to bringing in Ferg, or I'm sorry, another tight end. You wish putting Pop. Oh, okay. I still have faith in Ferg. Been hurt quite a bit. Think he will bounce back. I'm the same way. I agree with that. I think the Cowboys should draft a cornerback. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I like that. The Iowa tight end, haven't watched him, but I mean it is Iowa, so let's see if there's anything else. Who do we get in the first round? I do think Banks will be there. If you're drafting 12, I think Banks will be there. I like the pick, but I'm sorry. I already read that one. I don't think Banks will be available for Dallas to draft. Someone else will get him. That could be the case, but I mean, I could see him being there for Dallas. I really could. It's just so hard to say, like, especially when you're drafting 12. Like, the quarterbacks probably won't be there. Travis Hunter probably won't be there. After that, I mean, you're picking at 12, not 20. So you really can't take anybody off the board. And that's not even, let me see here. Who's winning this San Francisco game? Cardinals are up right now. But if San Francisco wins, you're going to be picking 11. You really can't take anybody off the board at that point. So I'm doing a PFF mock draft, and it has Banks available. You're drafting at 12. It has Banks available because Cam Ward and Shedeur went off the first two picks, then Travis Hunter. I think that's how it's probably going to stack up there. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad with Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State either. I think that he's a really good player. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out from that perspective. But I saw that. Twiz. I saw that, Twiz. You're good, bro. Realistically, we are probably in Burden and Mecca territory. Yeah. Those guys will be there. Reminder, remember, DeMarvion Overshown is out for the 2025 season, so they need a linebacker replacement. That's not confirmed yet. That was something that people thought, but that's not confirmed. There's actually a report out saying that it's very likely that he could potentially be back for next season. Zimmer, can we bring him back? We dealt with a lot of injuries on defense. I'm all for that personally. Realistically, I already read that. We need Ashton Genty, the running back from ASU. Guys, there are other running backs in this draft. Those two are not just the only running backs. There's a lot of great running backs in this draft. Genty is obviously a really good one. I get it that people like Scatterbill. I get it. I'm not as high on Scatterbill. I think he's just too small. I mean, he's 5'6", guys. And it's not even like he's 5'6" and he's a flat out burner. He's 5'6" and there's speed issues there. So, I mean, I haven't dove into his tape, but when you look at the running backs available, let me check the board here. You're gonna have, hold up, give me a second. Let me go over the board because I haven't dug into his tape. I'll dig into his tape when I get a chance. So let's see. Let's go to the running backs here. You're gonna have Ashton Genty, Amarian Hampton, Cam Scatterbill, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, Devin Neal, Quinshon Judkins, RJ Harvey, DJ Gibbons, Katron. I think Katron and Nick Singleton, I think they might be going to the league. But Jordan James is ranked 152. I'm a lot higher on him than that. There's so many backs in this draft. And I personally think it's crazy that Cam Scatterbill is over Henderson and Judkins and Neal and Caleb Johnson is really good, man. And now Amarian Hampton he's the 24th ranked prospect. So yeah, I think that's a little crazy, to be honest with you. Oh yeah. Yeah, Hampton. Did I not mention Hampton? Yeah, Hampton's a great back. I'd love to see Hampton. Isaiah Bond, second round. I'd be cool with that if he's in the second round. Can we trade Jerry for a decent draft? That's funny. See, Leofau back, and we're going to keep the MLB and get some day 2, 3 help backer plus free agency. Yeah, I like Leofau a lot. I think Leofau is a exciting young player. Can't wait to see how he develops. Who do you predict to win the Super Bowl this year? Got to go with Kansas City, right? Got to go with Kansas City. But I know you're an Eagles fan. I know a lot of Cowboys fans in here aren't going to like when I say this, but they stand a real chance this year. They really do. I'm not picking them, but they're a great squad. And I know I'm going to get crucified in this chat. That's fine. You guys don't have to keep it real, but I do. Don't want a small receiver. I see where you're coming from there. Ben Johnson, I don't think we have players that fit his scheme. We are not the Lions. But here's the thing. Just because he runs a certain scheme with the Lions doesn't mean that he's not going to run it with Dallas. So I kind of disagree with that. You know, I think if he comes to Dallas, you know, he'll change some things up. Hey guys, if you haven't already, please make sure to go to Chris K Football. Hold up. Let me pull this up. I got a new page. I started a new page. It's called Chris K Football. I'll drop the name of it in the comment section. Make sure to go check it out. Hold up, Chris K FB. Type that in. You're going to see in the chat. Type that in and you'll see I have reels on there. So you can follow me there on, if you guys would, I would greatly appreciate if you followed me there on Instagram, TikTok, and X as well. And I'm on there on YouTube too. So if you guys would do that, I would really greatly appreciate that. I'm going to be pumping out a lot of content on that page. So yeah. Thank you for your honesty, sir. I mean, I got to keep it real, bro. I got to keep it real. Look, you know, I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys second, but I consider myself an analyst because I spend a lot of time on my craft. But, you know, if I'm going to sit here and analyze the game of football and look at what the Eagles are doing and say they're not a legitimate threat, I lose credibility at that point. So, how do you think Mingo will play next year? He had a pretty decent game today. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he have like 2 catches today or something? That's crazy. I'm saying that's a decent game. We got to get Genty, man. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. 4 for 4 and also had a top 10 defense. Hey, I'm cool with keeping Zimmer. Uh, we got to get a better draft pick. Let's go. Or we got a better draft pick. Let's go. Oh yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yeah, man. So, hey, look, guys, before I leave, I guess you can say this is something that is Cowboys relevant because this guy has been quite annoying to Cowboys fans. This Skip Bayless thing is like a real thing. Not going to go too deep into it, but I mean, there could be some problems there. Like that thing might bring down Fox Sports. That is crazy. But hey, that's going to be it for the stream, though, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Going to be a lot of content coming this off season. I appreciate you guys for another season. It really means a lot to me, guys.